Welcome to Phoenix Healing Podcast, where mental health is our number one priority, featuring Liam Z. Muniz. Enjoy. Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to Phoenix Healing Podcast, where mental health is our number one priority. So, this is episode 6. Exciting. The official episode 6, I should say. And today's topic, just as the rest, it's a little more random. It's about happiness. I know, so broad, so specific, Lamsey. I love it. But it's just about happiness. I feel that we all have this eternal goal to achieve happiness, and that's what we're always searching for. And so I wanted to bring it up today because I was doing some meditations and reflecting on my past and who I was, what I expressed, what I represented, what I felt brought me happiness, right? And I just want to share with you guys. So, of course, before we begin, we're going to do some affirmations so that we can ground ourselves into the topic, connect with each other as authentically as possible. No pressure here. And yeah, if you want to repeat them, you can. If you just want to sit and listen, you're more than welcome to. All you have to do is believe, okay? I know and believe that I am more than enough. I am all that I need. I am happiness. I am success. I am abundance. I am greatness. I know that I will achieve all that I desire. Happiness, comfort, fulfillment is found within me. I create my happiness. I create my fulfillment. I create my balance. I create truth. All that is me. I am my life. I am the human experience. I know that no matter what happens, no matter what leaves or enters my life, I will always be fulfilled. I will always be complete because I am all that I need. I trust and believe in the process. I trust and believe in myself. I know that I can. I believe that I can. It's okay to not be okay. I'm still on the right path. No matter where I am, I'm always exactly where I need to be. A kissy for you. Now, let me fix this a little bit so I'm not like breaking my neck. Okay, so the topic, happiness. So as I was stating, I have a strong belief that we're always searching for happiness, right? Whatever we do, wherever we go, whatever we're experiencing, we search for that happiness because I feel as though we see happiness as the basis of our experience, right? It's something that we desire because it feels good, right? When we experience things that make us feel these positive emotions, we search for those experiences in everything that we do. But I also believe that in times of pain and suffering, that is also a big step that leads to happiness. And that takes me to the idea that happiness is an internal construction, right? Happiness isn't anything external. Happiness isn't an object. It isn't money. It isn't anything outside of yourself. Happiness is a state of being. It is a state of mind. I feel as though it is a perspective, and the reason I feel this way is because through experience, I feel as though at a young age I really attached myself to people, places, and things, because I don't know, I feel like it was a mix of fear of abandonment, fear of being judged, fear of going back to abandonment, feeling like, I didn't belong, right? Feeling like almost like an outcast in some ways. And so I searched for things that made me feel what we define as happiness. So that positive energy, the energy that makes you feel like you just want to keep going and you just want more and more and more and more and more, right? And what if we did feel happiness 24/7? I feel like if we did feel happiness 24/7, we'd probably be, I don't know, like little slugs at some point because it gets old, you have nothing more to live for. So without pain, without suffering, it's like there are no challenges. There's no reason to live, no reasons to experience, because happiness being so rare in this experience, right? I feel like we might experience more negativity than positivity in some cases. Because it's so rare, it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you that goal, that end game goal, that passion, that desire for something, right? So what are your thoughts on happiness? I feel like sometimes we mix happiness with short-term satisfaction. And that's something I've experienced, right? I feel like there are so many moments throughout my life, especially, more towards my adolescence and like between middle school and high school, where I would attach myself to people emotionally because them being there, their presence, right? Even if their energy was bad, I would always try to see the good in people and I would attach myself to that perspective. I would attach myself to the good qualities of a person, completely ignoring and bypassing every, more negative aspect that might hurt me, right? And I was okay with that because I had that dependent fulfillment, that satisfaction. And I don't think that happiness is satisfaction. I don't. I think that satisfaction is different because it's more ego based almost. It's almost like when you have a deep wound, right? And you just lay something on top, or like you take some medication or something and it takes the pain away momentarily or just for a second. That's satisfaction. Happiness is realizing that the more that you care for this wound, the more you hold space and love for it, the more it heals. And once it's healed, that's when you feel that total like fulfillment, that total happiness, that state of feeling accomplished. So maybe that's how we should care for ourselves internally, right? Holding that space, allowing ourselves to love, to simply be, even if in times of suffering and pain. I think that's when we need it the most. That's when we need to accept that suffering is a normal, and it's a normal aspect of our life that we cannot overlook, that we can't run away from, right? And we might feel this sensation of happiness or, satisfaction when we run away from our problems and we run away from wounds and trauma and all of these different aspects that cause us so much pain. And we're like, okay, I like that. I feel nice. I don't have to take care of it. I don't have to feel it. I don't have to do none of these things, but it's still there, right? It's still there. It's just that temporary satisfaction. That's not happiness. That's you seeking a way to escape the pain, escape the suffering. And sometimes we might project that onto other people. Sometimes, as I stated with my experiences, sometimes we might subconsciously attach ourselves to people in ways that don't necessarily bring happiness into our life, but it brings that temporary satisfaction where it's like, okay, they allow me to disappear from the things that I don't want to face. And that's a toxic habit, right? Toxic habits are mostly internal projections onto whatever, onto anything, any action, any person, any place, anything that doesn't really give you the necessary space to acknowledge the things that you have to face. And we put that onto ourselves. That's us denying ourselves that happiness. That's us denying ourselves the space to simply be, right? And it's difficult. I definitely feel that it's difficult to identify what can bring you fulfillment if we're constantly searching outside of ourselves, because there's so many options externally, right? So when we look internally for that state of mind that can lead to happiness, that can accomplish that goal of happiness, we may realize that it's simply our perspectives, right? Our perspectives, they might all be jumbled up and tinted by conditioning, by external negativity, by so many things that we might feel we don't have control of, but we do have control of, right? It's a strange feeling when something leaves your life that brought you that sense of satisfaction, because we're like, oh, we're not happy anymore. Now I have to feel the pain and the suffering again. But we have to accept pain and suffering, right? As a normal process of our life, as a normal stepping stone to happiness, right? And I feel like for me sometimes when I'm in an experience or in a place that's more negative and heavy and overwhelming, there are moments where I want to run away. There are moments where I'm like, okay, I need someone or something here to distract me. And there were moments when I gave in to those feelings. And when I did, in the moment, it satisfied me. But once that person, place, or thing was removed from my presence, from my space, I felt even more pain. I felt even more suffering. I felt even more discomfort. Because when we feel this pain and suffering, it's not that we want something there to replace it. It's not that we want something there to take it away. It's that we have to sit with it. We have to love it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to accept that it is there and try to view it at a different angle, and just try different angles, all different types, girl. Go upside down, go do a cartwheel, like look at it from viewpoints that you never have before. And I've been doing that a lot lately in terms of viewing people from a lens of compassion. And I don't really know if I want to bring it up in this EP. Maybe not. But, keeping that viewpoint that we're all at the end of the day trying to find that fulfillment, trying to find that happiness. And, sometimes we're like sheeps. We're like sheeps in a herd. We're all just following this one person or this one shepherd or whatever. And we rely on that person, place, or thing as the lead to our happiness, right? And the whole time it's leading us to slaughter. It's like if we search internally, we may realize that yes, it is very fulfilling and a beautiful experience to connect with others, but you can't do that if you do not connect with yourself. You can't do that if you are not accepting of your experiencing of your experiences, right? Because this is your experience, this is your life, this is your path, and it's completely different from others. Like, yeah, we might run into each other here and there and share some moments and spaces and all these beautiful things, but at the end of the day, it's you. It's you that can create the happiness. It's you that can change the perspectives and, identify the things that are good for you, the things that you need, the things that you don't need. And it's okay if you don't know. It's all part of the process. Like right now, I'm simply rambling. This is a natural conversation. Me and you. Just me and you. In this entire universe, we're just sitting here together, listening, sharing thoughts, right? Maybe I don't hear you, but I know that as I'm speaking, thoughts might come up, right? So pay attention to that. As I'm saying all of these things, so random, very much, very much all over the place. It's it's just where my mind naturally is right now. Today, to be completely honest with you, not even today, but today. I feel like I had to come face to face with some heavy emotions, right? Which is why I wanted to bring this up, and so I'm really kind of mellowy right now, but I'm allowing myself the space to accept it, the space to express however it is I have to express right now with the feelings and emotions and energies that are passing through me. And maybe it's not like the usual me that's energetic, that's super doo-doo-doo-doo-dee, but I'm here. I'm human, yeah? And it's okay to not feel like yourself here and there, right? That doesn't change the fact that you are valuable, you're worthy, that you matter. And sometimes you don't need to have everything right there set up and planned. Sometimes it's just about allowing yourself the space to experience, to accept that there are going to be moments of pain and suffering, right? And not to say that you should expect pain and suffering, right? Always, well, for me, what I do is I try not to expect anything, but I just keep faith for the highest and greatest good to enter my life, right? And I understand that pain and suffering and these processes of healing and wounds and shadow work and destructing the old and negative aspects of our being is part of our happiness. It is part of that lead to transformation and growth. And yes, it's uncomfortable and it sucks sometimes, right? But it's really up to you. How do you want to see it? Do you want to allow pain and suffering to pin you to this life and experience that is going to constantly feel like you're in hell, right? Because through my perspective, heaven and hell aren't places. They are a state of mind. They are a state of being. So being in hell, it's you constantly searching and absorbing and accepting and simply finding comfort and stagnancy in negativity, right? And heaven on earth is keeping that open mind. It's understanding and accepting the aspects of life that might not feel the greatest, but you know that they're there for a reason, right? You know that they're there to show you something. And in moments like that, I often feel a bit saddened because a lot of times it's with connections that are very unexpected. And I'm like, damn, like I was really feeling this, like I thought it'd be nice, and the whole time my intuition is screaming at me. It's like, girl, no, this is not the one for you. Like, walk away. Whether it's friendship, relationship, whatever, it's like that first instinct is the truth. But sometimes I come up with, excuses as to why I should stay and help this person because of that empathic side of me, right? Because I always just want to see the good in people, right? That brings me fulfillment to know that we all have good in us, but that's also me denying the more negative or painful sides of life, right? That's me denying that as humans we're not always good and dandy. We're not like the most perfect beings, and we do have aspects of ourselves that can hurt people, that hurt us, right? That hurt us internally so much that we might project that onto others. And yeah, sometimes that sucks because I'm like, hey, I know that I'm providing happiness for someone in this moment, and I don't want to be the one to abandon that person, right? That goes back to the experiences with fear of abandonment. It's me projecting that. It's me putting myself in their shoes, but also like mixing it with my own experiences because I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like, and I don't want to have someone else feel that. And that's completely understandable, but it's also like happiness is not another person. We cannot rely on another person to make us happy, and we cannot be around people who rely on us to make them happy, because that's not fair. Because we're all searching for this eternal goal of fulfillment and happiness, right? And in order to achieve that, we have to accept the pain and suffering. We have to accept the negative aspects of ourselves in this life, and those around you have to do that as well, because you're also on this journey. So if someone is putting all of their burdens on you, they're like, oh, you need to make me happy, you need to be here to make me happy, that's not a true connection. That's someone who is attaching themselves to you emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically, right? So that you can distract them from their own pain and suffering with your light. And that is not right. Don't even play. Like, it's okay to take that step back and reflect on your connections and reflect on, the different aspects of your life that we often kind of just go along with, right? Like sometimes even with friendships and connections that we've known for so long, it feels so comfortable that it's like, I don't need to think about if I need to walk away from this person, right? I don't need to think about if they're using me, if they're draining me, because we get so used to it, right? We get used to their presence. We get used to them simply being around. We get used to these experiences, and then we might think of different memories, and it's like, oh yeah, there are moments when we have good times. And yes, you can have a good time with people who are dependent on other energies, right? Because there are moments when we might step away from that pain and suffering internally and express a more natural, authentic self, right? There are moments of that. That's natural. But then we need to keep in mind that with consistency, internal consistency, we have to constantly be aware of our internal world. We have to constantly be aware of what are we projecting onto others? How am I utilizing my energy when I'm around people, right? Like we can have amazing moments together and that doesn't mean that we're meant to be like super, super close, right? That doesn't mean that I'm meant to be in your life for the rest of your life, and vice versa. And sometimes that truth can feel like the pain and suffering, right? And pain and suffering isn't just internal sometimes. Well, now that I say that out loud, maybe it is internal. Because every external experience we have is a reflection of our internal self. So yeah, pain and suffering, it's all an internal experience. Look at us putting puzzle pieces together. But yeah, I'm not sure where this conversation really led to. I don't even know if you're still here. If you are, hello, I love you so, so much. Thank you. I just wanted to sit down and be vulnerable, be raw, create that intimacy between each other. Because I feel as though sometimes I do put pressure on myself, and I place myself in situations, subconsciously, where I feel that I have to provide or give to a person, even if what they're giving me isn't in any way really valuable to my internal world, right? Not to say that these people aren't valuable, of course. We all are valuable individuals, but sometimes we can't settle for low standards, right? We need to have high standards. And the only way we can do that or understand, well, what are my standards, right? Where are the boundaries? What will lead me to happiness? It's that internal reflection. It's understanding that you can't expect other people to be exactly like you, or, to give more than they can give themselves. And that kind of reflects back to us, back to you, back to me, where it's like, I cannot give more than what I give myself, as genuinely as I should be, right? And sometimes I really, how do I say this? Just to put in simple terms, sometimes I neglect that not everyone can provide for me the things that I need in my life, whether mentally, energetically, physically, whatever. And simply because I'm in a state of being where I'm already providing myself with internal fulfillment, right? So I would like to connect with people who can also provide themselves with internal fulfillment. And we don't have to really rely on each other to be fulfilled, because we are already fulfilled, and we could give each other more than what we already have, if that makes sense, right? So it's like, I would want someone to give or do more than I already do for myself. That makes sense. Yeah, and I don't think that's in any way cocky or like asking for too much. I don't think so. Because when you're able to give yourself everything that you need, and this is apart from materials, everything emotionally, mentally, energetically, spiritually that you need, you're able to give at greater lengths, at purer forms to others, right? So I expect that, Ooh, let's not say expect, but, I feel like that's just what I'm deserving of. And sometimes I do settle for people who neglect themselves, and they simply want a connection with me or other people to have something to distract them with, right? To have something to give to, because they don't know how to give to themselves. And that's going back to that dependency on their fulfillment and happiness. That goes back to wanting to distract themselves, and that's not fair. So I don't know. This has been a nice conversation. It's very much chill, like FaceTime convo. Bestie energy. I like it. I like it. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly sit and just talk about it just for a moment, you know. As out of space as my mind is right now, like I keep looking out the window cuz I feel like my mind is wandering as I'm speaking and I'm like, "Girl, the fuck." I cannot put me words together. But yeah, that was pretty much the things I wanted to just express in this moment. I don't want to force any conversations. I don't want to force anything that doesn't feel natural right now. Cuz I am in a space where my mind is like a little blank, a little cloudy, but also thinking and wandering at the same time. Very much confusion. So don't forget to connect with me, okay? Because I value your perspectives, I value your opinions, and I really like that we can connect with one another, even though some of us are like across the world. I'm like, what? Okay. And it's important for me to view your perspectives and understand or understand things that you need as well, right? Like I'm sharing this just because I feel like sometimes we need a little space to express, to have conversations and connections that aren't forced, that aren't based on anything, that's literally just existing. Like I'm just existing and talking about whatever pops into my mind right now. So it's okay to do that. We are humans, aren't we? We're not meant to be these perfect robots, AIs. But yeah, I love you so much. And I hope you really do feel that. I know sometimes it can be difficult, especially when some of us might feel more connected when we're in person, but wherever you are right now, I love you so much. And I think you're incredible. And I think you are valuable. And I think you are worthy. And I think you are deserving of all of the amazing things that this universe has to offer. Because you are every amazing thing under the sun. And yeah, like I stated, stay connected with me. Let's create some magic with our energies and conversations and really broaden our perspectives, you know? Like, I'm very open minded, so I'd love to learn more of your perspectives and your viewpoints. So don't hold back. Okay. But this concludes the end of this episode. If I even post it, to be honest, it's so random. I feel like it was kind of all over the place, so I'll have to listen back and see. But this is the end. So thank you for sticking by this long if you did. You're so amazing. And I hope that through whatever pain and suffering we experience, we always remind ourselves that these are simply stepping stones to our eternal happiness and enlightenment. Okay? I love you.